Disclaimer: 9 days after I arrived from Odessa, Russia launched severe attack on one of the oldest European market, the Привоз. The flames engulfed the buildings and pavilions. I have a story about it in a video, so I couldn't skip such important part of reality we are living in. The object is listed to UNESCO World Heritage and protection, but it cannot stop Russian drones from inflicting damage. That is not first similar attack on civil houses and cultural heritage sites in Ukraine. It's time for Odesa. Good morning, everybody. The journey began with the 10-hour bus ride. Picturesque Ukrainian steppes stretched along the entire road. As we traveled through the south of Ukraine, there were no mountains to be seen, just endless plains, and the heat was like the Wild West. Closer to our destination, the sea came into view from time to time. It felt as if we were driving along some Italian Riviera. Elegant, salty taste started to fly in the air. My friends, we are in Odessa. I'm so excited right now, I can't describe you my feelings. You know, it's that type of feelings when you first time arrive to an unknown city and fuck, this is so exciting. So now I'm heading to a southern place of living because the day before my trip started I booked a flat 2 weeks in advance, I guess, and yesterday just the house owner said that she settled other people on my place. I had to suddenly and fast search for some sort of a flat on Booking, and yeah, this is the cheapest hotel I found because the prices right now is huge. I don't know what I will get for this money, but at least something. I read some reviews about this hotel and they are not so fancy. Anyway, we'll see. The room in the small hotel turned out to be not as bad as I expected, though I wouldn't call it great either. So I didn't stay there for so long and went out to get something to eat. McDonald's felt almost sacred, because in Zaporizhia it's been absent since 2022 due to security restrictions. That visit alone was worth the entire journey. The next morning I arranged to meet my longtime friends, whom I hadn't seen for over 2 years. But first I needed to change into something more seaside appropriate. Since Odessa doesn't have a single main street, public transport here requires at least 2 transfers to cover longer distances. The best way to get around is by taxi. Try to avoid crowded places at night time and you'll be able to travel for decent prices without selling a kidney to pay for your fare. During our warm reunion, not many words were needed. You know that feeling when you see a friend after years apart, but it feels like nothing has changed, as if no time has passed. They prepared a road for me to show the main places where Odessa residents like to relax. The first stop was Arcadia, the most popular and well-developed beach in Odessa, home to many wealthy residents. Here you'll find some of the most expensive restaurants and the greatest number of attractions and bars in the city. Look at me, I'm so sweaty. This is the real master of this game. What can I say? I lost this. I lost it. This was my first time, but it was cool.
The water that day was crystal clear. Odesa is a true gastronomic kaleidoscope where every dish has its own story and special taste. The local cuisine has been shaped by the influence of many nations: Ukrainians, Jews, Greeks, Bulgarians, Armenians, Georgians and Moldovans. Among Odesa's culinary highlights, fish dishes stand out, such as forshmak, a herring appetizer with apples and eggs, tulka, goby fish with young boiled potatoes, rapana, sea snails, squid, and many other things I didn't have time to try during my short 3-day trip. The restaurant we visited first is an Odesa's iconic place called Chernomorka. It serves only fresh, local and traditional fish dishes right on the seashore in a beautiful Mediterranean-style building. I highly recommend visiting. It's worth it. Afterwards, we hopped on the tourist bus on wheels, which took us to our next stop, Langeron Beach, another of Odesa's iconic spots. Let me tell you a bit about them. Odesa's beaches are the real symbol of the city, where relaxation, entertainment and the unique atmosphere of the Black Sea coastline came together. The most famous beaches are Langeron, Arcadia, Vidrada, Dolphin, Luzanivka and Zolotый Берег. Each have their own features and attract different crowds.
What are you doing here, young boy? Young man?
By the way, did you know that Istanbul isn't the only city with a reputation as a cat city? In Ukraine, Odesa is considered the city of cats. Most street animals here are cats. The locals build them little houses and feed their mascots. It seems as if cats in this city are privileged and everyone is afraid to upset these respected inhabitants. By evening, a childhood dream of mine came true. When we arrived at the third beach on our road, Zolotый Берег, my eyes were drawn to an old wooden piano standing by the side of the walkway. This was a special moment for me because I wanted to play musical instruments, especially the piano, since early childhood. Only last year did I save up enough money for my first electronic keyboard and started teaching myself to play from YouTube tutorials. Now my time for glory had come. It was like a fairy tale. A beautiful music, sunset, people passing by. I found paradise.
My friends saying that I played really well and they shocked. But I'm shocked not less. Even more than they shocked.
Sunday was full of adventures. My goal was to film Prevoz, Odesa's largest market, and its gem. But things didn't go as planned. I was asked to put away my camera at the entrance. But I'm not the one to give up so easily, so I came up with the idea and now you can see footages from the market. Prevoz is one of Odesa's oldest markets, counting almost 200 years since its founding in 1827. Its crown jewel is the fish section: sea fish, river fish, dried fish, shrimps, rapana, everything the waters offer is found here. If you are after bustling bazaar vibes and want to experience the flavor of Odesa's vendors, I invite you to the perfect place. Maybe you'll ever bargain for a good discount, but I promise nothing. Odessans know the value of their goods. The next part of the road took an unexpected turn, and for the first time in my life I was taken to the zoo to find giraffes. The zoo is next to Prevoz and is a green area with lots of enclosures for big and small animals. Here I saw flamingos, zebras, a bear, baboons, lions and even an elephant. Wow, the sheer size of this animal is intimidating. 3 or 4 meters tall, it could crush anyone who stands in its way. Though I didn't support keeping animals in cages against their will, this visit was wonderful and full of emotions. But I stay true to my beliefs. We must prohibit the use of animals in circuses and keep them only in proper conditions. In the center of Odessa, a few streets are of great interest to our architecture lovers. Deribasivska is one of them. Dozens of houses with unique 19th century stucco have survived here, despite all the difficulties. At the intersection of Gretska, Langeronivska, Ryshelyevska and Italyska streets stands the Grand Opera and Ballet Theatre, built in 1887 in the Viennese Baroque style. Its auditorium is famous for unique acoustics. Even a whisper from the stage is heard everywhere. The building ranks among the 5 best theaters building in the world. Deribasivska also features a beautiful covered streets called the Passage. Just a few rows of shops between buildings covered overhead with thick glass to protect from the sun and rain. If you look closely, you may find a small alleyway between the houses, which, according to a legend, leads to the narrowest street in Odessa. Even Google Maps doesn't show it. Cozy bars are tackled here, offering a pint of beer or some Aperol cocktail. This is so tasty. This is like semi-sweet, semi-sour and a lot of ice, so it's basically the best for refreshing in the summer. The final landmark of this section of the road was the Potyomkin stairs, a true architectural symbol and one of Ukraine's most famous landmarks. There are 192 steps. Originally there were 200, but some were covered to expand the marine terminal opposite. There is a legend saying that the stairs symbolize the course of life. From above, at start, the distance seems so short, but when you look up from below, at the end, you can truly acknowledge the full length of your journey. In the evening, it was finally time to try my underwater camera and, for the first time in 4 years, dive into the cool sea. Hi, it's fine. I even managed to film 2 dolphins that swam up to shore and played with joy. They say this is a rare occasion, and I took it as a sign that I had chosen the right time to come. On my last day, I couldn't wait to visit a very interesting historical place closely tied to my previous video. For those of you who haven't seen it, I will attach it in the suggestions. So I set out, navigating 2 transfers to finally get there.
So this is the cemetery of Cossacks Heritage were the Cossacks which exiled from Zaporizhia siege after its destruction in late 1700s by Katerina II, the Russian imperatrice, and one part of Cossacks went to Kuban across the sea. They basically speak in Ukrainian, have had Ukrainian customs, but unfortunately right now Russia really assimilated these people, so they are no longer considered themselves as Ukrainians. And the other part of Cossacks went here to the outskirts of Odessa in 1775. Basically they came here before, but it took them a few years to get here and start to dig some mines to get some stones on which Odessa was constructed. So they were the first settlers of Odessa and first builders of Odessa. There are more than 200 stone crosses, and this is unique necropolis of founders of Odessa. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here to see how far our culture widespread across all Ukraine. Right now Russia tries to erase this heritage, the true history, which is located here. You can see by your own eyes. It's not a mirage. So that is how important to fight for your freedom. That is how important to remember, always remember, because history is a cycle. It always repeats, but with different configurations. They want to destroy our history. They want to say that this city was built by Russian Tsars, by Katerina II. But if you dig deeper, you can see that there were older settlement called Cousine, where Ukrainians lived. These Cossacks came here in search for a new home, and they put their lives here. We should always remember this, because who will remember us when we will put all our forces to do something great, if not our kids? And we must remember our ancestors.
The rest of the day I dedicated to my friends. Late at night we put a cherry on top of our wonderful adventure by going on an attraction we had both wanted to try for a long time.
Ой, Витюля! Ой, Витюля! Нихуя себе! Нихуя себе! 5G нагрузка! Ой! Ой, хорошо! Ой! Ой! Мама! Ой! Ой! Ой, хорош! Ой, Витя, хорош! Рука трясеться, просто подивись на неї, давай! Hands are shaking. This is so great.
Every journey teaches us something. On this one, I realized that I physically wouldn't have time to feel everything I had listed in my script, and that in my pursuit of quantity, I might lose not only quality, but also precious time I could spend with friends. So I decided to dedicate this episode to imperfection. I didn't talk about the dozens of Odessa landmarks that comes up in every Google search. I didn't chase views or catchy headlines by shooting generic content about popular locations. But I tried to do something of my own, imperfect and simple, yet human and alive. To show that it's not worth pursuing a template of a perfect life, hoping it will bring you happiness. Instead, feel the moment, pay attention to little things, the flowers in the beds, the ornaments on the buildings, the faces of passers-by, the laughter of children in the streets, and make sure you made the right choice.